So we're in our index.html file on line 1. So before we get going, I'm going to close this here. So before we get going, a couple things. HTML looks really, really weird, but it's not super complicated. So you're just gonna kind of have to get used to the syntax of things and how the way things look. But it's not super complicated. There's not much logic to it, but again, the syntax or just the characters and letters that we use for HTML just looks a little funky if you're not used to it. Another thing is be very conscious of how I am typing things on the computer and how you are typing things on the computer, and make sure things match up. So if you're new to this, just make sure to pause the video frequently and just kind of copy exactly how I have things on my screen. We are going to be using a lot of these angle brackets here, braces. Just get used to knowing where those are on the keyboard. And I think that's it for now. So let's type in, first line, we're going to type in open angle brace like that, exclamation mark, doc type, all caps. Remember, everything has to line up exactly how I have it. HTML, and then close it with the other angle bracket. Enter down a line, and now we're going to do the same thing, angle bracket, HTML, close it. So save that. This is how we're declaring our HTML file right now. So if you go to your folder with the evacuation map, it should have this index, and I use Google Chrome, so my computer detects that this is an HTML file. Chrome is my default browser, so it's like, all right, you want to open it up in Chrome. So go ahead and open that up in your browser. And this is how it should look. It should just have index.html in the title and then nothing here. So we're going to start populating this. But this just, what we have here just declares this as kind of like a generic HTML file. Next, I want you to type in head, open bracket, H-E-A-D, close it, and that will self-close like that. So it should be head, space, and then slash head. And then down below here, I want you to type in body. So inside the head is where what we call the metadata goes. And that's data that users don't necessarily see, but things like Google and search engine, they will kind of scrape through these head tags on your web page and use that to kind of interpret what your page is about. So head tag is very important. We also do things like declare styles and stuff in the head. But let's go ahead and type in, within the head, I want you to type in title. And that should self-close like that. So title, and then slash title, and then nothing in between. So save that. And then, actually, let's type something in. So I want you inside the title, evacuation map. All right, now save that. And I want you to go to your browser. And I want you to refresh. So as you can see, nothing changed here, but up here, you can see that this title changed, evacuation map. That's what we just changed here. So you can change this evacuation map new to, save it, refresh this, evacuation map 2. So that's what the title does. And then below the title, I want you to type in style, like that. So it looks like this, so style slash style. This is where your CSS is going to go, which makes the website look pretty. And we are going to leave this blank for now. So next, I want you to go inside the body. So the body is where, this is what the user sees. So this is where like your text is going to go, your pictures, stuff like that. And this is also where your JavaScript is going to get declared. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to type in div, just like that. And there should be a closing div tag, so div and then closing div. And then below that, I want you to type in script, just like this. So in your div, so a div is literally just kind of like a container. So right now, it's not going to do a whole lot, but once we start adding CSS or styles and stuff to our web page, it's going to start getting important. So I'm going to be putting a lot of divs in here, and they're not going to do anything for us right now. But once we start adding styles and stuff to the web page, you'll see why these divs are important. So again, div is container, script. This is where our JavaScript goes. We are going to leave this empty until video 4. but we are just going to have it there, you know, just so we can get the HTML out of the way. So inside your div tag, I want you to make another div. Okay, another div, and then I want you to type in h1, h2, h3. Okay, so Visual Studio Code should automatically close these tags as you make them, the h1, h2, h3. It should automatically close, but if it doesn't, make sure you pause the video and have the syntax just as I have it here. And inside the h1 tag, between these two tags where the opening and closing angle braces are, I want you to type in heading 1. Inside header 2, h2, I want you to type header 2. And inside the h3, I want you to type in header 3. Save that, and then go back to your web page and refresh. So we just made our first HTML in the body. So you can see header 1, header 2, header 3. So these H tags correspond to headers. So header 1 is your biggest header, header 2 is the second biggest, header 3, third biggest, and I think it goes all the way down to 6. So let's just leave it at header 2 for now. So get rid of heading 1, H1 and H2. And you can always play around with stuff. You don't have to follow along exactly, but I just recommend, if you haven't done this before, to just follow along, just so you don't get confused. So inside header 2, I want you to type in evacuation map. And below this closing div tag, I want you to write div. So we covered the H tag, the header tag. The other one you're going to be seeing a lot of as far as text goes is what's called a P tag. So P stands for paragraph. There is no P1, P2, P3. There's only P. You can adjust the font and color of the font through what we call CSS, but we're not going to do that this video. We're going to do that next video. But let's just type in paragraph, and this is going to be your standard, just your standard text, your standard bulk text. So let's refresh that, and as you can see, we have the header, evacuation map, and then I just wrote the word paragraph. So that is going to be your P tag. So let's go ahead and type in div, and then type in image, img. So this is your image tag. This is where your map is going to go. So I'm going to erase this P tag. That was just for demonstration. And I want you to save it like this, and I want you to refresh this page. As you can see, there is no image because we haven't declared any source for this image. So inside the image tag, it should look like this. It should look like open angle brace, img space / closing brace. So you'll notice that the syntax for this isn't, see, Visual Studio Code won't even let me. The syntax for this one isn't like what we've done for the div tags and the h2 tags, where we smush our whatever we want to display to the user in between the tags. It's actually what we call a self-closing tag, so like that. So the way we declare an image is we type in src equals, and then I want you to put 2 quotation marks here. So save that, and I want you to just go to Google Images, and I want you to just find a random image. I'm going to find a bird. And then I want you to copy the image address. Okay, this is just for demonstration purposes, and I want you to paste it. Oof, look at that. That's quite the address. So save it like that. Go back to your HTML, and the image that you found should be displayed here. Obviously, this is massive. This does not fit on my screen, so we got to give a height and a width to this image so it doesn't get smushed on the screen like that. So I'm gonna kind of space things out like this, just to make it look pretty. And we declare the height and width by saying height and width. So width equals quotation, quotation, height. equals quotation, quotation. So I want our width, let's say our width, let's declare our height. I want our height to be 100 pixels. Okay, and I want to say our width should be auto. So this is going to say, all right, we are going to take this image and we are going to give it a height of 100 pixels, and the width is just going to be auto. So it's going to auto scale based on, you know, just the ratio and stuff like that of the image. So go save it, go to your image and refresh, and bam, that is 100 pixels high, and the width is auto scaled. So that's a little small. So let's say, and you can do this for your, you know, for your own image. I'm just basing this off how this one looks. So that looks a little better. So 300 pixels high, and then automatic pixel width. So that's our image. So we need to build our images for our map. I want you to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the source for the images that I made in the description. Go down and click the link for those images, and we are going to use those so you can download those to your computer, and you're going to download them to this images file. So go ahead and click the link for the images, download all the images, and put them into this folder. So if you go ahead and pause the video here, and we'll pick up from after you download your images. Okay, so hopefully everyone downloaded the images. Again, it'll be in the description link along with some instructions. But if you did it correctly and you saved the images to this images folder, you should have these images here. Okay, should have these images here in this images folder. So in our index.html file, in the source for your image, your img tag, just erase this source or whatever you had before, and I want you to type in images / evac base map.png, and let's keep this the same. Let's keep this the same. I want you to click save, and I want you to refresh. Okay, perfect. So what we did there was since we are referencing a folder that exists within the file directory that our index.html exists in, we can actually reference different files within this folder. So we don't even need to have any sort of image hosting or anything like that. We can do it all locally. And again, you can run this. You can run this without an internet connection. So again, this is something that you can do in your workplace and just throw this folder onto your network, onto a shared drive, and say, hey, like this exists. Just give it a shot and get familiar with your facility. So we're actually going to make this a little bigger. Let's try 500 pixels for the height. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, at least on my screen. So looks plenty big. You know what? We got to have room for the buttons, so I'm going to declare it as 400 pixels height. Width is still auto. Refresh. Okay, that looks good. Again, this doesn't look great right now, but we are going to clean it up with some CSS, some styles. But for now, let's leave it. And below the div tag that contains your image, I want you to enter down and make another div tag. And within that, I want you to make 2 more div tags like this. So div. I know this is getting really messy, but it's okay. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it, I promise. So we'll have this outer div tag, and then within this outer div tag here, we're going to have 2 more div tags. So open div tag, open div tag, close div tag, open div tag, close div tag, close div tag. So in here, we are going to make some buttons. So buttons, obviously, we all use buttons every day to like pictures and, you know, send emails and stuff like that. So this button will trigger what we are going to declare here in video 4, but it's going to trigger some JavaScript functions. But for now, I want you to make 4 buttons, so two in each div tag. So this button, let's say cafeteria. This button's going to be called cafeteria. This is going to be called, what was the next one? Machine shop. And then I want you to you can just copy and paste this like this. And Next is cafeteria and production, or excuse me. So this one's going to be the welding shop. So we'll go welding shop, machine shop, cafeteria, production floor. Production floor. And here, let's make another div tag and make a p tag and said evacuate the building from ... So this is going to indicate to the user that if you want to evacuate the building from ... the welding shop, you're going to click this welding shop button and it'll overlay the correct image. So let's go ahead and save that, refresh this and see how it looks. So not too good. Not too good at all, but we have our buttons here, which currently do nothing, and we have our text here that triggers the user to say, hey, you know, this is the prompt, so if I want to evacuate the building from ... the welding shop, click there, it'll give you the image overlay. So that, believe it or not, that is all the HTML that we're going to use. We are going to use the rest of these images in this folder in video 4 when we make these buttons actually do something. But for now, this is it. This is all the HTML we need. Yeah, I mean, it looks like crap, but we're gonna spruce it up with some CSS, and then we're gonna make it functional with some JavaScript. So I will see you guys in the next video for some CSS. We're gonna clean it up and make it pretty.